We are here at Cole Studio in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And it's the first time I've ever been in here. And I've seen so many pictures of it and videos. And it's always cool when you like in someone's room for the first time.
We call it, and this is not my idea. But so our address is Drive, so we call it Billy's Stew.
I'm going to have to redact that before I put this on YouTube.
Yeah.
People are going to start showing up at your door.
Hey, man. Work is work.
True.
Sweet, dude. Well, I'm just gonna ask you some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think like if you want to use any of this,
Let's get into it.
Any of these kind of lame like logistical questions, you can.
Sweet.
Well, so I didn't write this down, but when does the record come out?
The record is going to come out on May 16th.
Sick.
Yeah. So the first single came out last week, January 16th. They're all 16s. So Ignoring the Feeling came out last week, and then we're going to do 2 singles, and then the album comes out on May 16th. And it's not released yet, but we're going to do a release show at the Visualite, and then we got a release with the Psychedelics playing with us.
Sick.
That's going to be dope. And then we got a release show at the Poorhouse in Raleigh
sweet.
with Duck playing with us.
Nice.
And
are those for the singles or for the...
That'll be for the whole album.
For the record, so you do too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super awesome.
And I gotta slow down. I don't want to play a lot between now and then, because the 9-piece band is so stressful. Because I'm not only like writing and leading, but I'm also like MDing on stage, calling stuff out in the in the talkbacks.
Yeah.
And like stage managing and engineering our in-ear system.
Yeah, nah.
And like running everyone's return channels, because everyone needs help figuring out how to run their boxes.
Right.
It's just like, dude, I can't handle that amount of stress.
Well, and like the horns and stuff, like that's all over the record. So you're doing that,
That's a new direction. Big band.
Yeah.
Big band rock.
Are you gonna keep doing that, you think, like after this? Or
yeah, I think we're gonna start recording the next album pretty soon. I've got all the demos ready. It's like a tough balance of like, will the guys in the band think I'm a lunatic if I book the studio time and the first album isn't even out yet? But they think they already know I'm a bit of a lunatic.
That's right. Yeah.
So, like even the next one, it's going to be very much same thing.
Sweet.
It's like this one's kind of like my love letter to like classic big band West Coast rock.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next one's going to be a little more like dancey, upbeat, even less serious somehow. Like this one's already fairly unserious, but the other one's going to be full on like satirical.
Well, that's like part of some of the stuff that I wrote down, like when I was listening today.
Yeah.
Was like, man, this is really like on the nose. Like
so on the nose.
I'm just a guy, like I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
That's like, that is only what we're doing right now. Like it's like the last tune.
Oh yeah.
is just so perfectly like, let's just fucking, who's trying to have some fun, you know? Which is so cool, And
we used to play that one with Pluto Gang. That was a Pluto Gang song.
Oh, wow.
I actually did not write the lyrics to that one. That was all Dylan.
Sweet.
Him and I were like having a looping day like 3 or 4 years ago and came up with that like 3-chord loop. And then we would just jam over that. And then he was like, hey, I think I got the best lyrics ever for the vibe. And then it had been like dead for a while, and then I added the horns to it and then changed the arrangement a little bit.
Awesome.
And then we kind of worked out a split. I was like, Dylan, let me bring your song back to life.
Sweet. That's what's up. Yeah.
Great set closer.
I love I love the like whatever you say. This, last song on the record. Like, let's go.
Dude, well, okay, that's like a whole thing that I've been like thinking more and more about too. Like about like there's a whole thing in like cinema about like breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And it's like really cheesy unless you do it in like a fun way.
Well, right.
And I'm like, no one does that. Like, what about addressing the listener in a record?
Yeah.
And I've been like toying or like laughing at my own lyrics. Like there's like there's like a couple of songs, especially on the next album, where there's like a really bad pun and I just start laughing in the vocal track. And I kind of like, because people talking about like breaking character in videos, but no one talks about breaking character in a song.
Well, and there's, so many people, probably me included, actually definitely me included. I can give you an example, but do the whole thing where like they leave in an ad lib or whatever, like during a vocal take or like something cute, like at the beginning or end.
Like when you're recording?
Yeah, of like a tune. And that is like an on the nose, like, cheesy thing, whatever,
cheesy.
so to speak.
It just puts you in the room with a singer.
Well, yeah. And like, that's obviously why people do it, but that comes off as like, to the outside as like a genuine thing, whatever, of like, I'm just a person expressing my thing. But you do it so like not by accident, which is, I think, awesome because it's so like characteristics of the song and the record. Yeah. To me. And you're like, last fucking song. Like, let's get hype, like that's, I think that's really fun and like really positive in a way that's, I don't know, that I think some people miss when they try to do that. Yeah.
I think so. I think that's what I thought. And then I started working with Greg, the publicist that I'm working on this album. But he immediately saw through the bullshit and was like, so how much of this comedy is like a coping mechanism? Because some of these songs are actually somewhat vulnerable.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And then I was like, oh, wow. I was like, is it that obvious? Like, could you see through it that quickly? He was like, oh, yeah.
Well, man, like it all, this is right on the money of like what I was thinking about. I was listening to it at the gym.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is like, this is fun listening music.
Yeah.
But it's also like you are talking about vulnerable things, but under the guise of like dancing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like that's super cool. And that's kind of what like the yacht rock guys did,
It's so good.
Like
dude.
they like wanted everything to sound and feel so tasty.
Yeah.
But also be like, hey, I'm just like a person, Like I'm not like a rock and roll fucking.
Or they do the opposite and make it like really cheery and major.
Oh, yeah.
And then it would be like grim.
Yeah.
But it was they were never in alignment ever once. It was like,
dude,
it's kind of subversive.
Well, and that's like why I think that music. Well, one, like people make fun of it for like some of that, but they make fun of it because it's like so good,
Dude, well, that's what. Whenever anyone's asking me, they're like, what is the album? Like, what does it sound like? I was like, it's a love letter to when budgets were unimaginably large.
Yeah.
And self-awareness was at an all-time low. Yeah. It was when budgets were an all-time high and self-awareness was at an all-time low. Like, that's what I want to replicate. Because, like, that is not possible today. Instagram has ruined the ability to have no self-awareness.
Absolutely.
Everyone has to be relatable. And I like these people that are like you see something like that's not a human. This person cannot have a normal functioning life.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, and kudos to those people, because that takes something that I don't have in me.
The publishing deals hit different back then.
That's right. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, just in case, like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep rolling through these. Who, in case you want it, who all do you have like playing on this record? I mean, tons
like
of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Did I send you the credits, or I think I just sent you the audio?
I think just the audio.
I mean, between like the audio, the visual,
or how many people you can say? Like, you don't have to go through the whole thing.
Like over 25 people.
Oh my god!
Between audio, video, and photo.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like I think 5 or 6 engineers, like 15 musicians. It got a little ridiculous.
Awesome.
No, not 15. Maybe probably like 12 musicians.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Amazing.
But all of it was like live at its core.
Yeah.
Was like we cut the songs, was the 5 of us in a room together playing live. And then the horns was all 3 of them in a room together playing live.
Okay.
So like a lot of room mics.
Yeah.
The solos, vocals we did afterwards.
For sure.
But
yeah. So you didn't cut this stuff like at your place?
I did all of it at my house. The whole album, we recorded the entire album in a spare bedroom in my house.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not a single track was recorded.
You can do it, folks. You can do it.
It is, yeah. We're breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. Oh, yep. It's all right. Sorry about that.
No, I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mixed it as well?
I recorded the whole thing at my house, and I mixed the whole thing at my house.
Man, this isn't something I wrote down, but like, as somebody who does the thing also, with it being your own stuff, I could not do that.
It was psychological torture.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So I was gonna say, because like for that band White Toledo that I was playing, you know, doing all the stuff with, like I couldn't do that.
Who's the dude that mixed it? Ben sent me his stuff. The guy that mixed it.
The White Toledo stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so it was like half and half, two different guys.
Okay.
One guy, Ethan Gingrich, who lives.
Oh,
in
I know
Wilson.
Ethan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did a show with Victoria.
Oh, awesome.
With Sam Taylor was host like a big jam.
Cool.
And I met the two of them.
Cool.
And I also I didn't know, I hadn't connected the dots. And I was like getting dinner with him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, like I've seen this guy's stuff everywhere. And I would have loved to chop it up with him. And we were like at dinner, but it was like Victoria's album was just coming out, and that was like the big thing. And I never got to be like, wait, like I know who you are, and you're a crazy good engineer.
Yeah.
And like electrical engineer on top of audio engineer.
Yeah.
So
he's just kind of like good at everything, and but like doesn't tell anyone, but just does it. And then everyone's like, hey, you're really good at everything. And he's like, oh, what? Sorry, what?
That's so cool.
Yeah, he's the man. Yeah. But yeah, he did 5 of the songs.
Cool.
I think. And then Caleb Parker.
That's the guy that Ben was telling me about.
The other 4.
West Coast dude?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He did some like Wolfpack stuff. Or he mixed the live Wolfpack at Madison Square Garden record.
That's so cool.
And then does a lot
like some Scary Pockets?
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah. Scary Pockets and like Couch. That band Couch.
Oh, I saw them live.
Nice.
It was super good.
Yeah, they're great.
It's crazy good.
They're great. And he also did like he did the last Drew Faust record.
Nice.
He mixed the like.
Is Drew in North Carolina right now? I saw him recording with Sam Freibush.
Yep. He actually So I play with him when he plays shows.
Yeah, you play with everyone.
That's not true. But we cut a record with Ethan a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And I played on some of the songs. Sam played
cool.
on some of the songs. On the songs where they like needed the keys to sound like good, you know. They had Sam play.
I'd call Sam too.
I would also call.
I got called the other day. Maybe we're going to end up redacting this.
Yeah,
that's
guys, fine.
The guys from the Visualite, they were like, "Hey, we need you to like Talk is playing. We need an opener." And Talk is awesome. Yeah. But we had like just done the single release show, and I already had the album release show booked at the Visualite. And I was like, "Hey, give me like a day to think about this." Yeah. Like, I don't know if I want to like oversaturate the waters by like taking an opening gig right before the album. Let me think about it. And then by the time I got back to them, the owners of the Visualite, they're like, "Hey, wait, we just got in touch with management from Talk. They're actually going to get Sam Freibush Trio to open." And I was like, "That's the right call. I would have also booked Sam Freibush. If it's between me and him, book him, please." Like,
100%.
There will be hundreds of people listening that would rather listen to his music.
Well, and that's not. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but he is really good.
He's so good. Yeah. He's so good, and gave me like has given me cool keys advice. So
yeah. Good dude.
Yeah. But yes, it was psychological torture.
Yeah, that's right. That's where we were.
Mixing my own album.
Thank you.
It was horrible. It took a year.
Wow. Like so when did the tracking start?
Exactly 1 year. The 1 year exactly the week that we released the song.
Okay.
So we tracked it. First tracking January 14th, 2024. First single came out January 16th, 2025.
Awesome.
I mean, it's been done since September, October.
Yeah, sure.
But once we did that, and then I was like, had a really bad panic attack after like the first round of mastering. Yep. And then I sent a couple revisions back to Dave, the mastering engineer, for no reason other than, I was like, there's one harmony on the last song on the album in the outro, 39 minutes into the album, and this one harmony is too loud, and it ruins the album. I was like, this ruins the whole thing. And everyone's gonna know that I'm an imposter. And I was having vertigo and like panic attacks. Like I didn't leave the house for like 2 days. I mean, I already have like crazy anxiety.
Yeah.
And it was like,
man. So. Well, and we can go like as little or as much as you want into this, because this is like not about your record, but I think it's like, important to talk about.
Yeah.
But I've noticed so early and so often, like myself included, people are so incredibly precious like with this thing that we
yeah.
do, like for obvious reason.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, you know, and I've seen it like torture people, you know,
Yeah.
To a point where it's obviously like not great.
But I think it actually is worse for me to give it away. Because then, like, okay, say I sent you the tracks to mix it. I would be texting you every day over your shoulder. Or like, hey, like, what did you do to the guitar in this thing?
Yeah.
And like, that's worse for everyone.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, it's just like, so it's like the empathetic brain. Like, in like my day job too, when it's like something that I care about, and I'm like, if I like give it to someone and I care about it, I'm like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I am that way in a lot of ways of like, I like to have control over the thing so that it can be the way I want it to be.
Yeah. But you got such a sound too. So like, and then you want everything to be cohesive and part of your universe.
Right.
Like your drums and vocals specifically. I can hear something and know that you mixed it. I was texting you about this the other day with snare drums too.
Oh, yeah. I only recorded that snare drum. I didn't mix that snare drum. But yeah.
Yeah.
That is how it goes.
But yeah, all at my house. And if we want to go more into the different ways that I made it torturous for myself, it was one session file for the whole album.
Oh, no.
I don't think we've talked about this at all.
For the like, you...
It was a 45-minute session file.
Yeah, just talk about that. Because that's insanity.
Completely unnecessary.
Agreed.
But I have these like phobias that things aren't going to translate from song to song.
Okay.
So it's the exact same drum track from in the first song and to the last song. It's the same snare track the whole way through, same vocal track the whole way through, same piano track the whole way through. And I'm literally just went in and automated every single detail over a 45-minute. It was 45 minutes long and 130 tracks tall.
Wow.
So unnecessary. But it is the only way I could be completely sure that the drums would sound the same on the first song and then the same on the last song. But then, like, it doesn't actually work because then we cut it live. And then, like, the first song of the day, the snare is tuned so much higher than the last song of the day. So it doesn't actually work in practice. But there's all these, like, philosophical things.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I get more caught up in, like, the philosophy of how we're mixing it rather than how it actually sounds.
Absolutely.
Like, is this, like, true to the philosophy of the tools that I want to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it would probably sound worse than if I did it like a sane human being and did it song by song, ditch the empty tracks.
I don't know.
But like
that's
philosophically,
right.
I like the way, because I wanted it to like be a similar process to tape.
Yeah, totally. No,
like,
well, yeah.
We had track to tape. We're running it through a console, and that's the mix.
Well, and that's what I like. I think the excuse me, had to reboot. I think your philosophy behind it like translates to a certain outcome
it's
that is not necessarily
crude.
like
yeah,
it's like not better or worse than if you didn't do it that way.
Yeah,
but it is different because you did it that way.
Yes,
you know, which it seems like your intention. And that's cool.
I call it painting with water, or what do they call it? Painting with watercolors.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, I didn't want to do fine point pen. I wanted broad strokes.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, they're not using any sort of, like, surgical EQs anywhere.
Totally.
I don't think I ever hit a cue, like, super tight.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they're all, like, this whole frequency.
That's what's
in
up.
or out.
Yeah.
Not out, but.
Well, and that leads me kind of in a segue to one of the things I thought about today, which was like sonically, obviously, I mean, as you just explained, like it is cohesive across the board. Like,
I hope so.
I mean, you can pull it up and show us that it's cohesive across the board. But there are also it is kind of through composed arrangements that are like really specific, and it's all like, aside from maybe like there was like a synth part or two.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's like stuff that you captured.
Yep.
With microphones, you know, and there's no like in the box kind of like twinkly boys.
No, none of it.
Which
except for the synth, the Nord. The Nord is the one thing I cheated with.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's instrumentation wise, and the vibe you're going for. Like, obviously, that's intentional.
Yep.
But did you go into it knowing that you weren't gonna like fiddle with anything to like get a cool layer or anything like that, or that's like not really the vibe anyway? Or
I'm kind of afraid of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like I could just like regurgitate the 1,000 points that I've heard other engineers talking about. But like the whole thing, it's these like, there are these very like classic things that people talk about from back in the day that are gone. Like choosing a sound in the room and sticking with it.
Right.
Limiting yourself a little bit. So I just like, if I got caught in the minutia of like synthesizing or tweaking or going to MIDI, it would be the death of me. Dude. So I would just get my friends that are really good at playing instruments, and I would put a mic on their instrument.
Totally.
And I would say, play.
That's awesome.
And
that's probably why it took you only a year. Because like to do a full record, really, like that sounds like a long time. But to do the whole thing and for it to be done, it's like that's not that long.
Yep.
And I agree with like the limiting yourself thing, and like that's something I'm really bad at, you know? I have like some fucking cool shit
dude.
in my computer
and you
that's
get
like
awesome sounds out of it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I have these like Arturia or something plugins. I've had them forever, but you know, like
the Junos all the synth ones?
And the Jupiter and all the shit. And they
Those
have like
nice.
1,000 presets or something.
Yeah.
And I can go through and search, and I'm like, oh my God, like I could never make this sound. But also like that guy Jacob Blizzard that came down to help with Ali's record, like
from Philly, right?
Yeah. Cool. He just rolled up with like some boxes, some like little like these little toys, you know, that just like had some sounds on them, like some little like synth like old shit.
And that's what he used.
And like that's it. He was like, oh yeah, this thing like does like 3 cool things, and we just like used it, and then we could maybe like fuck with it in the box like a little bit.
Yeah.
But he mostly just rolled up with cool sounds ready to go, which was like awesome.
That's so cool.
You know, and you don't have to change your buffer size for that. So like, you know, I'm into that.
I don't think I know how buffer works still.
That's okay.
We were tracking the show, and there's a couple of places where my computer starts to chop up. I was like, I should definitely learn how to lower the buffer. Well, I know how to do it, but I've been afraid to touch it. It's like one of those things. I don't like. We were talking about vintage keyboards. I don't want to touch it.
Oh, dude. No, with buffer size, don't fucking worry about that shit, dude.
Okay.
Just when you're basically for like live shows and stuff, just put it on the highest thing possible.
Really?
That's all.
Yeah, because it messes up. It like I get this static. I'll show you. It sucks. It
like
ruins,
in the recording?
Yeah, it ruins my recordings.
Interesting. The buffer size should not affect your recording. No.
It happens.
That's really only when you change the buffer size?
No, when when we're getting really loud and recording 24 tracks.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, I think it might be my mixer.
Possibly.
Or interface. I don't know. We're not going to get into this.
We could jump into any, yeah.
But yes, a lot of, the whole thing, analog instruments, recorded live, people in a room making eye contact with each other.
Oh, dude, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Well, that doesn't count me like alone in my room singing 500 vocal takes.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that part.
Yeah. So you do, like when you overdubbed the vocals, you just did it by yourself?
I did all the keyboard and vocal overdubs just alone.
Okay.
I need that process because I will take like 100 takes on things.
Yeah.
Not vocals because I will throw my voice out.
Right.
But I think I did 3 runs of everything on the vocals.
Yeah.
I did all the vocals in a day.
Okay.
Because I didn't want my voice will sound different if I'm like congested one day.
Yeah, right.
More congested if I had like coffee that day. So I was like, the whole vocals need to be on one day and a day where I haven't had caffeine.
That's what's up.
That's the whole sound will be that sound.
Yeah.
And the voice will get raspier from the beginning to the end.
Sure. I mean, that's like, you know, that's a vibe. It can be cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do I have here? Okay. I asked how much of it was live tracked, if any, but you already went through that.
Everything except for the solos and the vocals.
Awesome.
Actually, some of the solos Jake cut live, and they were so good we didn't know.
Oh yeah, he just kept them.
Yeah, and you can hear the drums and like if we pulled the tracks up, I think you can maybe hear it a little bit on the album.
Sure.
If I pointed out which solos were live, the drums are a little louder during the solos because like we just had his amp one room over. So you can hear like,
oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Like coming under the door. Just like a little washier during his solos.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, it's like, it goes without saying, but obviously sometimes like in the moment, like when you're doing the whole thing, like it's gonna translate way better like you're playing, you know.
It's so good.
It's like people who can't, like I've worked with plenty of people who have a really hard time tracking solos like out of studio.
Yeah. And then they're so good on
like,
stage.
yeah, like watching them live is like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you know. Same thing with vocals. You know,
Yeah.
it's just different.
I kind of like the chaos that happens though. Like talking more about the live thing. There's one I guess we haven't talked about. Like I had made like a solo album before. It was great. I learned a lot doing it. It was the first time I had ever really like done like a grown up album with myself.
Yeah. It was the record that came out before this one.
Yeah, it came out like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like it was just learning, man. Because like I've been like doing this stuff. Like I had still never been to like a commercial recording studio.
Yeah.
Ever. I've just been like I've had my Ableton license since 2012. And I've just been toying.
Yeah.
And then like learning a lot from people like you that actually do it and like bring on clients all the time. Now I've started doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
So now I understand it. But like with that album,
we've worked with some of the same people.
I know.
Yeah.
But throwing the clock back 3 years, I hadn't done that yet.
Yeah.
And on that album, it was like I programmed the drums, and then I would like play my keys.
Yeah.
And then I'd get the vocals, and I'd get someone to come in and play the bass, and we would like take it section by section, like the best section for the chorus,
right?
Best section for the verse.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was crispy, but like it's just like it's too perfect. And then like you don't get this thing where there is a bit of chaos. And then like someone decides to play a run going into the chorus, and then someone else has the idea, but they decide to take it down, and the other decides to take it up, and it creates a weird tension or a weird chord.
Yeah,
that we would have never planned for that.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, and people crave that, you know.
Yeah, or where it just makes a weird sound, or it's like whoa, or like maybe someone pinched a string.
Yeah.
And then like right after the drummer hits like a hi-hat crack and it goes like ka like from the left to the right.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, and like all of those kind of ideologies behind like recording and making music or like whatever.
Yeah.
I think they go hand in hand with, like you're saying, just like time passed.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you start to do things differently. If not because they're better like sonically or whatever, but they like feel better, you
totally
know? And then that translates sonically to like something that's cool.
We can give a shout out to Secret Formula Band here, because I cut their album like 2 years ago, and they really tested me, where they were like not testing me, but they pushed me to try something different. They're like, we're gonna cut this completely live, and like his vocals that he cut live are the vocals that are on the album. He didn't overdub any vocals. I think they only overdubbed like 1 or 2 guitar solos.
Whoa,
and they were like philosophically what we play is the album. Man. So like I had to put him in different rooms.
Yeah.
So like I would put Mac in a different room. So he would be like singing and playing keys in the control room with me.
Yeah.
The amps would be in another room. Actually, most of the time they didn't even use amps. They just wanted to use their digital system.
Yeah.
So then it was one less thing to like ring out.
Oh man.
And they're like, what we play is the album. And then like we would like dial it in.
Shoo.
On the spot. I'd like try to get most of it on the spot. Like I was compressing the rooms on the way in,
sure.
EQing his vocals on the way in, and then like that was the album. And I was like, oh wait, this is possible. But they're also like a really good band.
Totally.
And they tour and play shows all the time. So they just sat in and played it. So
it can be done. You know?
That's what we did. We just played 30 shows in a year.
Yeah.
Got really tight and then just recorded them.
That's awesome. So when you do the album release shows, are you gonna play the record straight through, or is it gonna be that kind of?
No. So we did it. We did it last week.
Oh, you did
at the single release show. I played the albums. I haven't released any of the audio yet, but we played the whole album.
Right on.
But now I learned which songs like work really well live, which ones I don't like as much live.
Sure.
And I want the shows to be really high energy. Really high energy.
Right.
And I've got a couple of like new songs that are more dancey. And I think I'm going to do a bit more of that stuff.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, this whole record felt very dancey to me.
This one, it feels very soft to me.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes I'm like, is this too soft? Am I losing people?
Weird.
Wait.
I mean, there's not like a.
You're good.
You gotta make sure that they're still going.
We're great.
There's unless I was going too hard at the gym and like didn't. Which that didn't happen.
Fresh cup of coffee before.
Yeah. There's not like a ballad on.
There's one.
Okay.
So track 3, the Vitamin D in the Shade, is like a Beatlesy ballad.
Okay.
But that one, it's like Beatles meets Pink Floyd. But then there's like a big guitar solo on there. We're gonna play it right now.
Oh, but it's like big, you know?
Yeah. No close mics on the toms.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool. I'm kind of into that.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
It's about. But then like skip forward like 3.5 minutes and it gets some teeth. Another like 20 seconds from there. There you go.
Yeah.
It's 80 BPM. That's a ballad to me.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I think I legitimately have a phobia that if I like played something really soft and slow, that people would get bored by it and stop listening.
Dude.
Which is wild because I listen to like really like soft, folksy stuff all the time.
Everyone does.
And I love
think.
it.
Yeah.
But when it's my music, I was like, oh my God, people are going to get so bored with like what I'm trying to do. I have to keep their attention.
No, I hear you.
It's just fear.
I hear you. Yeah. We had, White Toledo had one like, slow kind of acoustic-y song.
Really?
And I was like, we have to do it. We have to like have content of it. I'm filming it and recording it, so we have to play it.
But y'all shows were the same way. Y'all shows were like
y'all
were
up.
dialed in with the click. Like it was fast. It was
all
like
of it's up.
it was not fast. Driving.
Yeah.
Like
kind of the mid like rock tempo
Yeah, so
thing,
good,
like the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because it like from the get go, and it sounds like it's a similar thing of like you want the show to feel like a party.
Yes.
It's like
that was Pluto Gang's philosophy too.
Yeah, that's what's up. It's like different than like EDM music, which is like people go to party and listen to that. But like for the people who are into the music, that kind of music, or that mid-tempo rock thing, like it's supposed to feel like that. Sort of get the same energy going.
Fun can be a core value.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Just all you need is that audio blurb right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun is the mission.
Yeah, I agree.
I used to think that was the purpose of life.
Well,
fun.
I mean,
I don't believe that anymore. Now I think it's community. But
I like that. Yeah. Fun is built into that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've expanded the whole thing.
It's just like a little less hedonistic and sounds less like a...
Certainly.
Sounds a little bit less like a 20-year-old came up with
it. Yeah. Yeah, I've got more stuff here. Let me see. Yeah, we talked about that. I was gonna ask you about like the arrangements and rehearsing and like all these things. But obviously, you had this like core group of people, and you said like y'all played so many shows and were locked on all those.
Yep.
Like, you were playing all these songs for those shows and stuff. Yeah.
All of them. Except for one, track 5, we had never played until we got to tracking day.
Oh, okay.
We figured that one out on the spot.
Cool.
Which sucks because now we do it so much better live.
Sure.
And we do this weird like stop, but
yeah. That's that's cool.
It happens.
People listen to the record, they won't expect it.
Exactly.
That's how it is. Yeah. Well, so how did the like? Because obviously, like I said before, it's all pretty, for lack of a better term, like through composed.
Yeah.
This is what happens. Not much is like left up.
I've got really tight forms.
Yeah.
Even in my head too.
That's pretty apparent listening to it. Yep. Which is awesome. Because I think for this kind of like groove based music, like you want to feel like everything's really intentional, or at least I do.
Oh, no, it's like 8-bar solo here, 16-bar solo here.
Totally.
Yep.
And so how did the arranging and like expectations for like what people play and stuff, like was that all you, or did you kind of do it as a band, or what was the vibe?
Well, first of all, I'm in a band with Logan Damery and Jeremy Mayer and Jake Austin and Ben Burrows, who all are equally capable to arrange and write parts and songs. Yeah, baby. So like half the time we'd start playing, I mean, you've played with Ben.
Yeah.
Ben is just spewing ideas all the time.
Absolutely.
Like not spewing, but like exploding with
it's
things that are.
It's
and
more
so
than
we
spewing.
track it, and then he'd be like, "Oh, what if we put a stop here?" And then everyone comes in here. He's like, "Wait," and like even like, especially with guitars, when we were doing like guitar overdub day, like Ben came in when Jake was doing his electric parts, and was like, "Oh, if you're playing that, like I should actually overdub mine too and play against it." So like if you're in this space, I'll be in this space.
Yeah.
Like one like more staccato, one more legato. And it's always keys down the middle, acoustic in one ear, electric in one ear. The whole album is straight through. It's like a 3-headed Hydra. Yeah. The whole way down the album. It never changes. Except for every solo is straight down the middle.
Yeah.
So the arrangements, we just played them live. And they're all thoughtful players. And I trust what they're doing.
Yeah.
So like I know, I give them the form. I'm like, verse, 6-bar or 8-bar guitar solo here, chorus, drum stops. But like what they play and how they play it, I trust their judgment. Like everyone's great. Everyone's so good.
Yeah.
The horns was a lot more composed.
Right. Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask about
this
that too.
dude, Brad Wilcox, if you ever need horns, I'll give you his number because he like working with him has been the best.
Cool.
People
need them, man. There are not a lot of people like around, like in the Triad and stuff, that are like
really
playing.
Dude, Charlotte has a good jazz scene.
That's cool.
It's like, I mean, we were out last night. Like Braxton and Zach were doing like a big jazz jam that played in the live band.
Sure.
It's so cool.
And it's not even that, like, because the scene for that kind of music, like with those players, does like Greensboro has the same kind of like jam, and people are starting to come around here. Like, you know, there are players that live here, but not like people my age that are session can like roll up and like do the thing, you know?
Yep.
Especially for when people like can't write parts. Yeah. And so they need somebody who can kind of like fly and just like get it done. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Brad did all of that for me.
Amazing.
Brad, so I had heard this album, and this local keyboard player, Colby Dobbs, awesome keys collector, keys player, singer. We were talking about vintage keys. That's why Keys Collection comes up in my head. He's got like the coolest Rhodes I've ever seen, like wrapped in walnut wood. He took it completely out and like rebuilt the case.
Awesome.
Colby put out this album. He probably has no idea. I've talked about him in 2 interviews, and I've never met him in person. We're just internet friends. But he put out this album, and I heard it, and I was like, this is so good. Yeah. Who did the horns on this? And I like scoured it down, and I like it was like Brad Wilcox. I was like looking up on Facebook, and I found him, and I just shot him like a cold Facebook message. Was like, we've never met, but I saw that you arranged this album. I'm working on this album. And I had already tracked the whole thing too. So I sent him the 5-part band mixes. Yeah. And I had vocals done. The album was like pretty much mixed. No way. And then I sent him this. Because I was like looking for someone to do horns. I had been talking to a couple people. But I was like, by the time we had arrived at the point of tracking it, we had already finished tracking everything else. So I was like done. And then I got in touch with him and I sent him the finished 5-piece band with vocals. Whoa. And I was like, I'm working on this. I need horns. And thank God it was like pretty done, because he heard it and he was like, wow, this is like really like a mature idea. And I was like, well, yeah, these aren't demos. Like, I'm ready to record today.
Yeah, we got to like get it done.
and I mean, he's played with like Frankie Valli, the Flat Tops, Aretha, like all these.
I remember you like it was saying so cool. Something about
he couldn't make it to our single release show last weekend because he was on the road with Frankie Valli. So like pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an appropriate excuse, I think.
Right? Yeah. Like so like, and I can't read music either. So and that makes for just enough to play. I could play marching band drums
for sure,
but the notes they lose me.
I see.
I can keep up with the rhythm.
Yeah.
but Brad like fully wrote out horn parts for everything. And like
That's
not even just
awesome.
for the three horn sections. Like I would send him references. Like I sent him like a Little River song. So he was like, I'm going to put flugelhorn on this song if you like Little River Band.
Sure.
And then like some of the songs will have like bass trombone. Some of them will have like 3-4 sax parts.
Yeah.
He like fully created a whole vision. And then he brought in his dogs.
Yeah.
Tim and Keith came in. And those guys have been playing together for 50 years. And they literally came in and just played it like, and I had never recorded horns before.
Yeah.
So I was like talking to like everyone I know that I was like, how do you do this? How do you do this? And I was like, I had been in like really into putting 2 mics on things.
Yeah.
Especially for guitars. Like I had been really, really digging doing that. And so I was like, I'm just going to put 2 mics on the horns, figure it all out.
Sure.
I overkilled it. There was like 2 mics on every one. I had like stereo room and a mono like omni room. And I was like, if one of these is cooked, like I'll have backups of everything.
Totally.
And then I like recorded all that and I ended up using half of it.
Yeah.
I didn't like the 2 mics on and then didn't work. And then like the mics that did work were never the mics that I thought would work.
Interesting. Okay.
At all.
What did they end up being?
It is a Lawton Atlantis on the sax.
Oh,
so
wow.
a large diaphragm on the sax. That thing rules.
Yeah,
I got
dude,
that's like the best mic I have.
I've used that. There's one at the
so
studio.
Good, dude.
It's wild,
and it's like an eighth the price of its competitors.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For like how good it sounds.
Totally.
That was on the sax, and then I used this Alder H44 on the trumpet. It's this dude in Ohio just makes. I have like serial number 400.
Oh,
and he just makes them. He makes his own ribbons.
Sweet.
And I had the Beyer M160 on there.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Interesting.
And this mic that this dude made in his garage. Sounded so much better. And then awesome. I put the SM7 on the trombone. I hated that too. And I have my dad's old Sennheiser 421s.
Oh yeah.
That he's had since the 80s.
That's
and
cool.
They've been sitting in my dad's. The other day I went home. And I was like, Dad, I'm stealing all your mics. Like, you're not gigging right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, you might as well grab these too. And like, grabbed all this cool stuff. Like, handed me a 57 that he's had for like 50 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not 50, 40 years. Dad, sorry. And then like all those Sennheiser mics. So like, it's cool.
That's what's up, man. Yeah.
And they just track the horns. We did the whole album in like a 5-hour session.
Yeah.
And then sent everyone home.
Man.
So
that's
cool.
dope. But you knew that you wanted horns on it before you reached out to them. Okay.
Yeah. I just had never done it before. I didn't know where to start.
Right.
Like I didn't have someone to call. I didn't know how to record it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to put a section together.
Yeah.
So Brad Wilcox saved my life.
Awesome. And so he wrote the parts for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, and I've had like the like it just baked into my head.
It's dude,
like,
good.
Yeah, that doesn't leave you.
But then it was also cool because like we had already tracked everything, so he knew when to like reinforce versus like play counter to what we were playing.
Oh yeah,
so like those reinforcement parts are just like we were already playing out, and he just like
There's not a single moment where it feels at all like there was a song and then we had to like figure out a horn part for it, you know?
No, we left space for him. So like even when we were tracking, I was like, there's going to be a solo here.
Totally.
So like everyone like sit back.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had no clue what it was going to sound.
Yeah.
We were dealing in like total abstraction.
That's super fun though, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's what's up. Well, talking about like mics and things and all this kind of thing, I did want to ask, which I'm stealing this from tape notes.
Okay.
This is one of the things, but he always asks, like, during the whole process or whatever, if there's one like piece of gear that you can kind of, and it can be anything, attribute like, you know, your success or like your feeling in the
Yes.
So talk about that.
I was really naughty after a couple of good gigs.
Okay.
And I bought the 2 Audioscape Pultec clones.
Gotcha.
hardware, EQs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole album is mixed through those EQs.
Got it.
We used them when we were live tracking. When we were cutting live, the bass and the kick drum was going through those. When we're going back and doing overdubs, I was tracking through those. Like the vocals, a lot of the overdubs is a lot of really crude shelves over either boosting or cutting lows.
Yeah.
Boosting or cutting mid or highs. Not a lot of control over the mid range.
Yeah.
Which I do regret because sometimes I think the album sounds a little too dense, but that's just we're still learning.
Well,
the guitars I went in digitally and but those EQs are fun, man, because I wanted it to be kind of like really broad strokes.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, that is what is it like the EQP 1A kind of thing?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're built for, is like the like smiley face thing.
That's exactly. There's
like,
a huge smiley face on the whole album. And the album is dark.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot. Well, the mixes that we made a little more modern.
Sure.
But like if I were to take out that EQ on that the whole album is running through, like it's like really dark mics that we used.
Yeah.
Like I didn't use any shiny stuff. Like I had some of those Mojave condenser mics and I sold them because like they're way too modern.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like the whole thing sounds a little muffled. And then I mix it through that like smiley face.
Yeah.
And then it like comes to life.
Dude,
But then it like keeps me from doing I don't want to EQ every track.
I go so like, and there's like no perfect answer to anything in any of this like audio or music bullshit that we do, right? But like, I've had people be like, man, you can't put that on your master, but like you can't mix through all these things on your
you can't
on your master. And I'm like, and I take it off or whatever, and I try something different. I'm like, okay, I kind of get that. Like if this is really this or this is really this and I'm going through this, I got to figure out where this whatever.
Yep.
But it goes back and forth all the time.
There's actually no rules.
No, there are no rules, and I've done like amazing stuff through through that. Like I have the plug-in version or whatever. Yeah. With the same kind of thing, like 100 hertz, like boosted.
It's a little more sensitive, I think.
What is
the plugin?
Oh, I
like
feel
the
certain.
Universal Audio plugin is
I feel
way more sensitive.
Yeah, I mean that's how like
I had 10K on the mix bus. It's 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's that's quite a bit.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
It was 60 and 10K.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no.
But like boosting at 60 is pointless on most instruments because I'm high passing to like 80 or 150 depending on what it is.
Totally.
So it actually only boosts the kick and the bass.
Yeah.
Because they're the only things down there.
But it's like.
But it's less work.
It's less work, and it's all. It's like this, like people talk about analog summing, which
is that a real thing?
I don't know. We don't even have to talk about it. We're gonna like anger some people on the internet if we get into this. But yeah, it's like it's all coming to a thing, and then you're affecting the whole thing, as opposed to like, I mean, you can boost 60 on the kick and like do whatever on the channel, but it's just different, know.
It's just you just moved it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mixed through. Should we drop the mix bus settings,
dude?
Should we drop them?
I a couple months ago, I asked like so many people just in a row.
Did people keep it secret?
Well, no.
Okay, good.
No. All the homies came through, and a lot of it was like similar stuff. But yeah, do you know like what you had on?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Spill it.
2 Cappy preamps.
Okay.
Was actually no. Before that, Soothe.
Yeah.
Soothe is the first thing on the master bus.
Right on.
Just getting like 500 to 6K.
Yeah.
Just cleaning that up.
Yeah.
Soothe, and then it goes out to those 2 Cappy preamps.
Those like API things?
Yeah, it's just API clones.
Mm-hmm.
Cooking the first stage then attenuating the second stage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, that's the distortion. And then I went into the compressor. I have got like just into a bus compressor. I mixed the whole album through that compressor. When I actually mastered it, Dave asked me to take it out of the chain. And I gave him a version with and without.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up using the one without every time. And I couldn't hear the difference until I got into his mastering room. And then we compared them. And then when we weren't in my tiny room and I was in a professionally tuned mastering suite, he's like, you hear how different your snare drum is? I was like, use the one with no compressor, please.
Yeah.
So I mixed with the compressor, but it didn't actually make it on the album. And then the EQs, 10K, 60. And then back in the box and Oxford inflator.
Cool.
Barely on.
Yeah.
I stole Tyler Enslow from Cosmic Collective. I stole his settings.
Sweet.
He shared the sauce.
That's what's up, man. Dude, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Like 80% of my mix template is like from different dudes.
Yeah, it's gonna like 10 more years are gonna pass and every North Carolina producer is gonna have the same template.
Yeah.
Everyone will have shared and like optimized to the same thing.
Oh man, I hope so.
But that's what a movement
cool.
is. That's like what friends. That's what happens.
Absolutely.
That's what happened in San Francisco in like 72.
Yeah.
They were all probably playing the same amps and the same pedals after like.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Well, yeah. As far as because obviously it would have been way easier and maybe less expensive for you to like just mix in the box. Is there a philosophy behind that too? Or like, I know you've been kind of into gear since it started, but is that like because have you ever mixed anything entirely in the box?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The first album that I did
was.
Yeah. I think I really struggle to comprehend a lot of what sound is happening when it's on a computer.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'd had this Ableton license since I was in 11th grade, since I was a junior in high school. I've been playing with it forever. I was making little hip hop beats and sketches.
Totally.
Chopping stuff up, like imagining I was MF Doom when I was 17. And it was great, but all I was doing was using volume and panning.
Right.
That's kind of all that made sense.
Totally.
And it wasn't until I got a Nord stage. No, sorry, Nord Electro in 2016. When I turned 21, my parents got me a Nord Electro for my birthday.
Sweet.
The best gift I've probably ever gotten. And I still gig with the exact same one.
Yeah.
I've had to like get keys fixed. It's still we're rocking with that thing.
Awesome.
9 years. It's about to be 10.
Amazing. I got to get a key fix on my Nord. So
take it to Gold Tone in Charlotte. They think they did it for like $40.
Amazing.
Yep.
Love it.
I'll take it back with me if you want.
Sweet.
But I like didn't understand any of this until I had that Nord and I could sit in the room and I could turn up and it's a one knob compressor.
Yeah.
It's like
sometimes the best
dry and wet.
Yeah.
And I could like play a Rhodes and like play a solo all the way off and be like, oh wow, it's cool. It kind of sounds a little far away. And then take that thing to 100 and be like, oh wow, it feels like I'm inside the keyboard.
Yeah.
Right. Or like twisting the EQ knobs. I literally I don't think I could comprehend it until I had that experience.
Yeah.
I think I still sometimes feel that way a little bit. Like, especially with EQ, like I don't really like easily grasp a lot of this stuff, but I do spend a lot of time with it until it's kind of the same way like learning math was for me. Like I could never like memorize any of the math formulas.
Yeah.
And like I like got a really bad grade in geometry. But then like once we started getting into the harder stuff and I would like sit with it for days and be like, I fundamentally understand this. And then I started to like it so much I ended up studying math in college.
Oh.
But I had to go through that path of like I can't memorize this stuff.
Yeah.
But I like if I like understand what's really happening, then I can know like how and when to use it.
Right.
And I think touching things helps me. Like I'm looking at your guitar pedals over here. Like guitar pedals are the best. Because like for like $100 you can unlock a whole new world.
Right.
And literally sit there and especially with delays.
Yeah.
Like with a delay, just like you just find the spot.
Right. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And that is like, I
And reverbs don't make sense either.
No, dude, I don't even want to talk about reverbs.
I use a one knob reverb. I
awesome.
use the Sound Toys little plate.
Yeah.
It's the only one that makes sense to me because there's one knob and it's just decay.
Totally. No, it's great.
And
it's
then
great.
I just put my own EQ coming in and out, so I don't touch any of that stuff.
Right. That's awesome.
Simple.
Yeah, simple. Yeah. Simple is sometimes lost, for the worse.
It's actually, but it's more expensive to be simple.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is more expensive to have the Cappy Pre's and going into the like EQ and like doing all that. That's a luxury. Yeah, but also, at least that like that's just what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like I can change any of the 8 inserts on my master mix bus anytime I want.
Yeah.
I try not to, but I can,
Uh-huh.
So like, yeah, it is a different sensation when being creative to like do this and not this.
Well, like, it's also, we were talking about like the tracking and how every song is the same template.
Yeah.
It's also like I want whenever I'm mixing and recording for other bands, like now I've been doing a lot of that lately, like trying to get people to come in. I love it. I think it's more fun for me.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like free of like the torture, and then I could like someone can be like writing a song, and I'm like, hey, you're hanging on a note for a while. Let's add a walk up here. Let's think about. Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Like, it's the most fun thing, especially when people like want to share the exploration with you.
Absolutely.
It's the best.
Absolutely.
But
it's it's awesome seeing, especially like hearing somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Like for the first time.
And when it's like really good.
Together.
And then you're like, oh.
Yeah. And they're also kind of hearing it for the first time, like in a new way. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
that's so dope.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
But the thought I was going for was I wanted to have this analog mix bus chain.
Yeah.
That every project I touch is going through the same settings.
Yeah. Right.
I don't touch the compressor. I don't touch the EQ. I don't touch the preamps. They've been set and forget for like a year and a half now.
Wow.
So like it is, again, we're getting into philosophy and not sound.
Right.
But I like this idea that now not only my album is cohesive, but now every project that I've worked on does have the same butter smeared on top of it.
Yeah.
And no one's ever going to pick up on that. But to me, it feels like everything is now a family.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's like structure and cohesion.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, maybe for not like an easily explainable reason, but like that's why famous studios became famous, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
especially like Motown, especially.
Yeah.
They had like their in-house EQs that they built there.
Yeah. Hits came out of them, but like hits came out of them for a reason.
Yeah.
But also, it's like it had a sound.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Sound City or whatever that was it LA or
they had that like Neve 8080 whatever console that like, Dave Grohl has.
Yeah, it was just like a famous like sounding thing, and the room there was like a famous sounding thing.
He spent like over $1 million on that console.
Yeah, wild. R.I.P. Yeah, but that's like that is like one of those things. So I think that's cool. Like while a listener might not be like, oh, does this have like Joe May's butter smeared on it? It's like, like that's not the point.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
But that's Tyler's Cosmic Collective Oxford Inflator setting.
Yeah, it's gotta be, dude. It's gotta be.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's what's up. Were there any other like specific recording or
we'll use my dad's Ludwig Superphonic from the 60s.
That's cool.
On the whole album.
That's really cool.
So I went back to Raleigh and I stole it.
Yeah.
I told him I was stealing it. And I was like, Dad, by the way, we're recording this album on this date. I'm coming to Raleigh. I'm stealing your drums. Just your snare. Nothing else. And I'm going to bring you mine so you can play at home. And he was like, all right, that's fine.
Cool.
And then I drove to Raleigh 2 weeks later. He's like, what are you doing? Are you stealing my drums? I was like, dude, I just told you that we were doing this.
So is your dad's a drummer then?
Yeah.
Okay. Right on.
Oh, dude, he's got this whole cool side story. He's got the whole he's got a Ludwig Jazz Fest kit from the 60s.
Oh, wow.
But like it's all pieced. So he'd been like,
Sure.
I remember like when I was a kid, when we first moved to the US, we were living in Georgia. And we would like drive to the middle of nowhere to like a drum warehouse. Yeah. There was some like drum collector in Georgia. Bill Pace, I think was his name. I think he's passed now. But he like had a collection of all these vintage drums.
Wow.
And like I remember going out there with my dad to like go find like he'd like call my dad, be like, I have like a 1964 Jazz Fest Tom and Purple Sparkle.
Yeah.
And like we'd like get out of school and be like, hey, you want to come with me? And like I remember him piecing this thing together.
Right.
Over the course of my childhood.
Wow.
But he only ever had the rack tom, the floor tom, and the kick.
Yeah.
He never had a matching snare. And the Superphonic was just sitting in the basement of his band. They were like rehearsing one day, and his bandmate Lee was like, "Oh, by the way, like I have a snare in a box over there. Like if you want it, I've had it for like 30 years."
No
and my
way.
dad like pulls it out of the box, and it's like a 70s Superphonic in perfect condition. And he was like, "Yeah, do you want this?" And just gave it to my dad for free.
Awesome.
So like it's like they've all ended up like that.
Yeah.
But my mom, my sister, and I had found the matching snare for his kit.
Oh, wow.
And he hasn't bought a drum in like 20 years.
Yeah.
No, less than that, 15 years.
Sure.
And he like, yeah, just like he's not gigging as much.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, but he still plays at home, so has no reason to like gear it up.
Right. Yeah.
But we found the matching snare in a different color. So he's got like the purple rack tom, blue floor tom, yellow kick.
Sweet.
And we found a red snare.
Awesome.
And I like messaged the guy on Reverb.
Yeah.
And it was the one, right? Like it was like a 64 Jazz Fest snare. It's the Ringo drum.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I know you're probably getting a lot of offers on this.
Totally.
But like it was like my dad's a drummer. Like hasn't bought drums in forever.
Yeah.
This is me, my sister, and my mom. We're gonna surprise him.
Oof.
And then I like sent him an offer on Reverb. Like it was a respectful offer.
Yeah.
But that's an expensive drum. So I've got to meet him somewhere.
Totally.
You got to meet him somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he like read the story and like responded. He's like, "This is awesome," and accepted my offer.
Sweet.
And then shipped it. And then I was in Raleigh, about to head back, and we never got a chance to do like an unveiling or anything. Yeah. So I just switched it out. And just like put it on his kit and never told him, and then drove home. And I was like, I wonder how long it's gonna take until he like goes down and plays. Like the next day he gets off work and I get a FaceTime. He's like, "What did you do?" He was like screaming. He's like, "What did you do? What did you do? Where did you find this? How is this possible?"
Oh man,
it was so good,
dude. That's awesome. I love shit like that.
Yeah,
that's like that. You ever like that Billy Strings story of like his dad's guitar?
Yeah,
like that whole thing.
Oh wait, I don't know about. I know he recorded an album with his dad. I don't know about the guitar itself.
I'm gonna get this wrong.
Okay,
and so maybe.
Sorry, Billy.
Yeah, sorry, Billy.
Our dear friend Billy Strings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I know you're watching. No, it was his dad had like I think it was a Martin, some like 60s, you know, Martin guitar that he like learned to play on and all this stuff, and like maybe his dad gave it to him, I don't know, but he was playing it for a long time, and then he like needed money, like had to get rid of it, you know. It was like at that point, whatever, like a vintage guitar, many thousands of dollars, and then and like maybe the like 2010s or something like that, like he like saw a picture of it on like Facebook Marketplace or something, like saw it online.
No way.
And like bought it back.
That's cool.
Got his dad's guitar back, and
they
then,
did the same thing with Paul McCartney's bass. Someone stole his bass in the late 60s, and then like a year ago, he was like, "I want to find like my first Hofner bass," and then like put out all these listings. I think he had the serial numbers or something, and put it out, and they found it.
Wow.
Like what? That's 60 years later.
Yeah,
and
that's nuts.
It. Yeah.
I mean, did he get it back?
Yeah, like some kid had it.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess it had been like passed down through a family.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's what happened. I think the dude was like 17.
Yeah.
That had been playing it. They might not have even known. I don't know.
Insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Life's crazy.
It would have been cooler if the kid had played it and then like recorded something really cool and then gave it back.
Yeah.
And then it was
man.
By the way, this is recorded on
Dude,
Paul
that's
McCartney's
what I would
bass.
have done. 100%. I mean, me and Ben used one of whose guitar did we have? It was like Warren Haynes guitar.
Way.
Yeah, his like Les Paul like Black Beauty.
How?
So like I don't know, like Ben's guitar teachers at like Jackson's Music or what, like in Winston, like friend of a friend of a friend or something like that, or like he knew his mom or something, like something weird.
Did y'all go to high school together? How did y'all get linked up at first?
Well, so we went to the same middle school.
Okay, cool.
And then I was like very good friends with Britton.
True.
Yeah.
I was texting Britton today.
Nice.
Yep.
But yes, we were real close homies, and they like started that little band.
True.
And then
Carolina Crossing?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I joined. I joined in on the fun.
I was making I found a geospatial mapping application.
Okay.
Where you can map different points together and like track graphs and relationships with things.
I'm interested to see. Oh, okay. No, I know where this is going.
Started creating nodes.
Yeah, good.
Where I was like, I wanted to map myself and my bandmates.
Yeah.
And then my recording clients.
Uh-huh.
And then, so then I was like, okay, well, I play with Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy plays with Ministry. Jesse is the drummer for Ministry.
Uh-huh.
Ministry's on tour right now. Jesse's on tour with Aishu Tune, which is Hannibal Buress's rap project. And then like Rob Arousal's playing keys on that project.
Yeah.
And then I was like, how many different cool projects can I map?
Yeah.
The connection to, and the amount of things that ran through Carolina Crossing,
bro.
Because that Carolina Crossing was how I linked me to Ben, and then to you and all your projects, and then to like Tristan, and then I was like, oh, like this is like a whole world that is running through this band.
Yeah.
And like, what, Colin was in that band?
Yeah.
Like I was just like
6 degrees of Carolina Crossing, dude.
Yeah,
that's
like North Carolina just runs through Carolina Crossing.
We unbeknownst to us, we started the music scene.
But all of y'all have gone on to do like really cool projects.
Yeah, it has
like
been
pretty much every single person. I feel like
it's been fun to see.
It's
like
really cool
what everyone's doing. Basically, like everyone except Britton, I guess, is like still making music, but he's doing all kinds of other awesome shit.
He just switched to a harder medium to do.
Correct. 100% correct.
He just leveled up.
Yeah, and he's really good at it.
And he did my first music video.
Awesome. Yeah, Britton's the man. Yeah, good times. Carolina Crossing.
Good people.
Good times. Yeah. Well, man, I mean, we hit a lot of stuff, I think.
We hit a lot of stuff. It's kind of fun.
That was no awkward silences, Only vibes. That was the first awkward silence.
That was induced.
Yeah, that's right. Well, should we play the people out with a song?
Let's play them out with... I don't know, the last song on the album.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's my dad playing percussion too.
I meant to ask about that.
Yep.
That rocks.
Yep.
Wake up in the morning, wonder what the day is gonna have in store. Make this my day, like yesterday, it can't happen no more. Eyes on the prize.
I think Jake was just plugged straight into the amp for this whole song.
Awesome.
Just super simple.
Yeah. Did you have to do much, did you do any like timing editing for like people's performances? A little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The drums are perfect. They're not grid aligned, but if there was a miss, but no elastic edit, only like manually dragging.
Yeah. I mean, because the feel is like so there, you know, and doesn't feel really like notched, you know. That's what's up.
We were playing to a click.
Yeah.
Come on, can you tell me how you gonna waste your time? I'm just catching my groove.
I hear that low plate in the back. That sound to
On the vocals? Yeah.
Did you use the Atlantis for your vocal too? Yeah.
It's not sibilant at all. It's magic. Had to overdub that key slide. I couldn't get a good one.
Dude, I feel you there.
It's the hardest thing to get.
Yeah. Because 90% of the time it sounds stupid.
Yeah.
You gotta get
it's
it
like
right.
too slow.
Yeah. Well, folks, this is Catch My Groove off of Joe May's up-and-coming record. Comes out May 16th.
That's right.
So catch it on that date, and you'll be able to hear this song.
Thank you for tuning in.